Welcome back to the show, and today I have a question. When you think of a forest god, what do you picture? Maybe you think of a beautiful, majestic stag with glowing antlers, or a beautiful moss covered giant helping some lost hikers. Well, forget all about that. Today we are diving into the twisted mind of digital artist Oleg Vdovenko. I don't even know how to say his name, but his name's Oleg, but online he is better known as Chuvabak. He created a legend so deeply unsettling, so violently grotesque, that it will make you want to pave over every square inch of nature. Grab your popcorn, and let's talk about the forest god. To set the mood, I want to share this clip that you shouldn't have even been shown before. The lost tape of a few researchers walk in the woods late at night. The video showcased their findings: a dark, empty forest filled with rotting deer corpses. But something seems off about the corpses. They look as if some kind of parasite is feasting on them, but the deer are still able to scream as if they are alive. Later in the clip, the crew notices a deer is starting to practically melt or decay into the ground at rapid speeds, leaving no trace of a body there. That's when they get startled, as one of their men had been flung deep into the woods. They stand there thinking while in awe, how could something have tossed a man that far with such strength? They turn around and know something is wrong, and that's when it had hit them, and it became too late. Standing in a tall statue, they are met with one of their men being unalived on a pile of rocks, getting his head smashed in by this tall entity that resembles a man in a nicely dressed suit and hat with pitch black eyes, looking directly at the men with a stretched face, gritting cheek to cheek as he starts to stand. That's where our tape ends. Even though the tape ends there, Chuvabak introduced the horrifying yet beautiful artistic animation online around 2023. But that's not where this whole story began. This actually began with a few images, part 1, part 2, all spanning around the same time in mid 2020. Many users online found the images to be terrifying the longer they stared at the images, and as I show these pictures, I want to tell the story of the forest god depicted in this slideshow. The story begins as so. In the original slideshow of photos, a crew was wandering the woods. Judging by their bright vests, it seems they are out there to deal with a possible tree cut-down session. They have their axes and chainsaws, but one of these guys accidentally slipped into this hole that startles all of them. It's a very long, pitch-dark casket that's half buried, and all of the men decide to check it out in greater detail. And so what do? They open the casket. When they opened the casket, they found a lengthy man laying inside dressed in a suit and a hat, almost like how all of dead relatives get dressed for their final showcase. His face looks messed up, and he lays there with no emotion as one eye is closed, but the other is opened, showing a blackened eye. As the men back away from the casket, their nightmare had just begun as they start to get attacked by these half-dead animals surrounding them. One of the men gets penetrated by the antler of a decayed deer with what can be best described as a deer from the dark pits of hell. Its eyes white as snow and its mouth largely widened with sharp daggers of teeth as the mouth looks split open with parasites dripping from it. The men quickly gather themselves and fight back against these animals as they start to slowly pick off each person. They swing their axes and saw all these animals off with chainsaws to protect each other. Once they killed off the last one of these entities, they just found something very eerie. After killing the last entity, the forest went quiet. There's not a sound of crickets, not a sound of frogs, birds, movement in the woods. Everything is pitch silent. Everyone is trying to catch their breaths, and then as they turn around, they know someone is standing behind one of their men. It's the man. Standing ominously is the entity that was uncovered from his eternal casket. He looked like the size of two men stacked on top of each other as he towered one of them from behind, slowly reaching his hand, grabbing his head as he shows his dark, ominous smile. Its stretchy skin and grotesque grin as he stares at the men, slowly ripping the head off of the crew member as they stood and watched in shock. After effortlessly unaliving the man, he stands there smiling, somehow larger than before, as behind him, a dozen more of these animals show up, bringing the final moment shared in this showcase, the forest god, moments before the rest met the same fate. So yeah, next time you're out there hiking and you feel like someone's watching you, you shouldn't be there. And if you smell something as if it is a rotten corpse, don't investigate. This is probably one of my favorite internet horror stories told through animation and imagery, leading the viewer to imagine the story in their own way and read it out to themselves as they wish to view it. I also enjoy the combat in the scene and actually would love to see this move from images and animation and into a short film or movie eventually. Now, we are at our wit's end of this video. I know it's a little shorter than usual, but before we end, I want to ask, what would you do if you saw that smiling face in the dark? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, darkness awaits. Goodbye!